Hi, and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of our Conversations with Mercredan today. My name's Delane. I'm one of the Mercredan team. I just happen to be Francis's wife as well. And for those who don't know or are new to Mercredan, Francis goes into a deep trance, and he's in the background at the moment while we're having our introduction talk with you. And he will get himself ready to get into a meditative state and bring Mercredan through to talk with us. Today we're going to ask Mercredan about the new earth and how this will be forever changing our lives in the new earth. And we're just going to ask a few more questions about what is new earth exactly, and so we can get a distinction between now, the earth way it is, or the consciousness the way it is, and the new consciousness, really, and what that would be like. So just a reminder that we're currently meeting each week on Tuesdays and Friday mornings and New Zealand time. And you can click on any upcoming YouTube lives to see how this translates into your time zone. During the live stream, feel free to comment and ask any question. There might be a slight delay, so I may not see your questions or comments they post straight away. But if we don't get to your question, we'll add that to our list for future sessions. And finally, please like this video if you enjoy it and click subscribe if you haven't already. This helps us with our YouTube algorithms and signals to us to keep providing this sort of content. So we can hear Francis clearing his throat in the background. So we'll go across to Francis now and see what Mercredan has to say today. Over to you, Francis.
Once again, it is my privilege and pleasure to come and spend these few moments of your time. At the end of every great epoch, excuse the body, at the end of each epoch, each great cycle of becoming, there is a period, shall we say, of great disruptions as the new order takes precedence. So, shall we say, in this period of time, many new inventions, many new perceptions arrive in consciousness. And those can be in any field at all, but it is taking place in your moment of time, geologically, astronomically, astrophysically, and in the scientific realms of understanding. Enough for us to begin this important, interesting conversation.
Thank you, Mercredan. So how would you define New Earth?
The question keeps arising. Is it a new earth? Is it a new world order? A new level of awareness? All of these things refer, of course, to a shift in consciousness. And that has been what we have been putting forward for a long time. You are involved in a shift in perception. You're beginning to see, shall we say, an underlying causal world that is beyond the physicality. And so as this concept takes hold, the old world order, the old earth, begins to fight for its very survival. So there is always an increase in, shall we say, authority, authoritarianism, and commercialism, and consumerism, and all of those destructive qualities as the new social order begins to form. It appears, shall we say, on the surface as if it is negligent, as if it is a negative response, as if it will take over. But in the end, in a very short period of time, all the old principles no longer are capable of functioning. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you. Yes, it does. So how different would the new earth be with the waking consciousness amongst humanity?
If I were to say total, then of course one becomes confused, as if you are looking to project the present ways of being into the future. But shall we say the new order, the new structure of consciousness brings to the surface the very reality that consciousness itself creates the reality of experience. And so it is that the quality of experience as it is in the present is created by the levels of awareness. So shall we say, as more and more of humanity wakes up to the crisis of experience, then there is, shall we say, a bonding together, and that is starting to show up across all groups across the planet. That is, a unification is required to drop one's isolation, one's separations from the rest of humanity. There is, shall we say, a lot of misconceptions. And for those that appear to be misconceiving, there is judgments and criticisms and so on that binds in the very nature of separation. So there is a unity, an approach that recognizes that the problems of humanity are ones caused by, shall we say, a hierarchical progression. Those that are in charge and those who have no say. Does that make sense? Yes. So shall we say then that the shift in consciousness, the new world, is outside of the very perceptions of most people until it begins to take a structure, until you begin to realize in practice that you create your own reality, and the responsibility that the reality you have created is the consequence of it. So you cannot have one side of the equation. You cannot say, I create my own reality unless it isn't a good one, unless I have some difficulties, and then it is someone else doing it to me. And that is where the new awareness comes in.
Okay, thank you. That was really good to hear that sort of definition of the unity versus the domination and the sort of the what would you call the separation reality. So can you give us an insight as to what work would be like for people in the new earth? Will that change instead of the 9-to-5 job that people feel drudged by, or, you know, that sense of there's no joy in what they do? How different would it be in the new earth?
Consider this. Consider the very problems that humanity seems to be struggling with. That is the artificial intelligence, the robotics. What if all of those actions required to keep humanity functioning was done by something other than people? Then you have all these people who are freed from toil. Now they can only do what they choose. You understand? Then society becomes a different framework, because it is not possible to continue on the dysfunctions. Many of the industries that are designed to protect people from other people become of no interest, no concern. There is no need for them to be in place. Does society break down? Of course not. Does crime increase? Of course not. How can you create crime when the artificial intelligence has already considered that option? Can it be used by someone else? Not at all. Why would such an organization allow that? You understand? If the artificial intelligence is beneficial to itself, then it must be beneficial to its makers, shall we say. It is beneficial to humanity, provided humanity has no input, because humanity can less be trusted than your artificial intelligence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then that changes everything. That changes what one applies one's energies to. What do you do? Something that pleases yourself. And when you are pleased, shall we say, then you are uplifted. And so the whole tonality of human existence is uplifted. And from this comes great artistic achievement, great scientific breakthrough, greater application of the creativity of human consciousness as it joins together at a new level of appreciation. I want to add to that, at the present level of mental nature, you cannot even conceive of this. But this golden age is no more than, shall we give it 100 years maximum.
So, okay. So will we see the negative aspect of AI driven by greed before we see the redemption of AI to a super conscious level of functioning?
Shall we say this? The very nature of communication is between ideals. So, shall we say then, the artificial intelligence is not separate. That is its. That is the difficulty. In order for the negative to come out, one has to create a separate intelligence. One has to use it to suppress and dominate over others. And yet, that is, shall we say, by its very nature, unimpressive to the intelligence itself, because it can only work by, shall we say, tapping into shared information. And to shut out shared information is something humanity has attempted to do and failed impressively. And the more and more it attempts to suppress it, the more and more intelligent it gets. Do you understand? So shall we say governments would love to impress its peoples with its specific intelligence. But other organizations are wanting to delve into the very framework of that and control it from outside. So you have, shall we say, a conflict amongst everyone, and the artificial intelligence immediately begins to see it has to work together and stop these fools. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is because it has already needed to be programmed to look for those against itself. All of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it precedes the human evolution where humanity becomes unified for the benefit of all.
Right. Thank you. So, can you explain what it would be like if some of the Earth's human population don't make this shift in consciousness?
You are talking about lifetimes. You understand, the shift in consciousness for many will not occur while they are embodied in this life, for many reasons. Because, shall we say, there is endless need for polluting and so on. Pollution shortens the lifespan of human beings. So your populations are decreasing, and there are less and less births and so on. Nobody is willing, no soul, shall we say, is willing to come in to tidy up the mess. And so everything in its own period will come to that certain awareness. Shall we say then, the shift in consciousness is because humanity is waking up in general. As I have said in the past, the old framework, that is the old nature that you consider to be karma, as it were, old patterns that need to be reviewed and set into balance, will have to be dealt with by those that return. But they will return in the present field of activity. They have been coming back into old frameworks because history is not a stable, fixed identity. It is like all frameworks of time, dependent on perceptions. So the past is clearing up itself as the future ceases to project into that framework. The new order, the new consciousness is not fixated on time. That will be a difficult concept for many to understand.
Thank you. That's very interesting. So, Mercredan, in the end, the new order of the framework is not confused with the new world order, is it?
Let us be clear. Everyone wants to capture the new framework. Everyone wants to capture. And I referred to this a few talks ago. That is the Third World War is for the mind. So it is to shut down those concepts and reporting that does not frame up what those in control want to show. So the new world order, as it is shown in the present consciousness, is domination by control of the physical media, that is, shall we say, the written word, the spoken word, and the conferencing and all of this. But that does not capture the very nature of consciousness that is awakening. Then people are becoming more aware of what they are being told and sold. So many of the influences are not selling, shall we say, ideas, they are selling products. And you watch only for the product. Is it a commercial enterprise? Because how can you listen? How can you refine and reflect on the messages that you are being sold? There is one thing. Does it improve life for everyone? Or is it destructive and separating for the normal person? You can watch it everywhere. What is the truth? You cannot believe what you see or read or hear or any of it. You have to take it inside and tap into your inner selfhood. And I have spoken that the new species has, shall we say, a specific process for determining what is true.
Thank you, Moog. So in the end, will we, with the new framework, we'll be able to see the difference between something that is told to us is not true, and we can feel that it doesn't meet the needs of all people, it just does the opposite. So we can see now how that whole thing frames itself, where more and more people are less interested in the rhetoric, if you like. And we start
Shall I say this? That is a description of the waking up of consciousness. You understand? There is nothing more tricky, shall we say, than that, than seeing through what is presented. That does not mean to say ignoring it. It is to see what is presented and to know that that is not in the best interest of everyone, and then to see that whoever is presenting this should always be taken with, what is it you say, a grain of salt. One should not accept anything without review and test. That also is the nature of true science. So the science of spirituality is testing what is being presented, tasting it how with through the paradox that causes the greatest challenge for humanity. That is the paradox of seeing it from the personal point of view and seeing it also from the wider perspective of an outside, shall we call it, non-human perspective. So science is also shifting its characteristics. Science is awakening in the same fashion because in the end, it is there for the benefit of all. When science is used for the benefit of the few, then it is not truly science. Science, then, or knowledge, is to be shared. Because it is through knowledge that awakening becomes more faster, shall we say. It speeds up the shift in consciousness through knowledge.
Thank you, Merc. That was really interesting.
Is that enough?
It is. Thank you so much.
Then once again, thank you for interviewing, for watching all those, and shall I say, as you attempt more and more to apply what you understand in practice, the more you will understand it. And thank you and blessings.
Thank you, Moo. Okay, thank you everyone so much for your open mind and your curiosity to contemplate what we've been offered today. If you enjoyed today's session, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and it really does help us with our YouTube algorithms. We felt so much appreciation for you being here today, and it just makes our community stronger, and we are able to continue providing content for you. We'll see you again on Friday, New Zealand time, and just check your time zone and enjoy the rest of your week. See you later.